in the sense of communicating what I want to him. It's very hard to put an actual sound that's in your head into words. So,
how did you get into producing your own music?
Comes down to contacts again, but the company I work for, we do a lot of club nights, and I knew someone who had a studio who makes the adverts for us to go on the radio. So I had an idea of a track, went to him, told him my ideas, and he basically put it together. So he's got all the equipment, and I said the kind of melody that I wanted, the kind of vocals that I wanted, and he done the rest for me.
Guys, I hear you got a record hot off the press. Can you tell us a bit about the process of producing a record?
First of all, you start off with samples, drum machines, different modules. Building the track, you start off in a loop, like in a 4-bar loop, and build the track inside that. Arrange it, mix it down.
You don't need a lot of equipment, first of all, okay, to start making basic records. A lot of people assume that you need a hell of a lot of money when you mention the word recording studio. You don't need that either.
Because these days, for not too much money, you can get a computer that will have its own soft synths, so that means you can actually, have your own sound generating modules within computers. They will have samplers built in, you'll be able to cut up audio, you'll be able to play in record tape.
I would say you basically need a general MIDI keyboard to start off, okay? You need a basic sampler, like an Akai 2000 or anything like that. You need a PC, which you can buy second-hand, as long as it's got enough memory. Check that first. But whatever software you buy, it will basically give the specification of what you need to run. So it's quite simple to follow that. A basic desk, just to run your channels through, so you can take different sounds on different channels, and basically a basic effects unit. And that's what I would say is all you need.
Neil McLennan, who works with Carl Cox, played me a track the other day that they did in a hotel in New York, and the whole thing was done on a laptop, nothing else, just a laptop in New York in a hotel room, and it sounded fantastic. So, you don't need a huge amount these days.
When we work in the studio, we used to do our own mastering, but now there's a place called Abbey Road. It's like Abbey Road Studios, and basically now we'll do a track, we'll get it to the best quality we can, and then we'll send them a CD, and they'll basically just clean it up, obviously get it so it's like, commercially sounds pretty good. So
what a DJ should be looking for is the flexibility to be able to deal with the MIDI equipment, which is equipment that samplers and that kind of stuff, and sound modules that people will be making music with these days.
To be honest, it's best to spend the money, because if you go to somewhere like somewhere small project studio to do the mastering, you can tell the difference in sound quality compared to if you went to like somewhere Abbey Road. You might as well pay the money, and especially if you're a small record label trying to get big labels interested, your record's got to sound good, obviously, like your track, but the quality's got to be good, because that shows that you're professional, you've taken your time to actually go to a professional engineer and get it mastered.
If you don't know what you're doing when you go into the studio, then you could take a whole day and come out of nothing. So if you go in and you've got a vocal that you want to use, and you've got a melody that you want to use, and the beats that you want to use, it's a lot easier.
Burn it to CD and play it on as loads of formats, whether it's in your car, on a normal stereo. If it sounds good in your car, then you know it's going to sound good in a club.
How are you going to go about promoting and distributing the tune?
Promotion of the tune's already being done. It's already been distributed between all the big top DJs in the garage industry, so they're already playing it, and that's the best way to promote anything, because the club goers are going to see the likes of EZ, Carl Brown, any big DJ and playing this tune, like, oh yeah, who's that? So that is the best promotion we could have.
I mean, Strong Room's always been forward-looking, and we've always tried to develop new technologies. And that's always been forced through by the creative people that have been working at Strong Room. So with the terms of what we're doing in the future, 6 years ago we put in what's called a 5.1 system, which allows for the creation of surround sound audio for DVD or Super Audio CD. We've even looked at clubs like Ministry of Sound and had meetings with them with regard to how people can develop 5.1. We've had things like Orbital to 5.1 gigs. We've actually created a mix in Studio 2 in surround sound and gone and played that to 2,000 people.
Up to this point, we've been using vinyl to demonstrate tricks and techniques, but there's a growing number of digital music formats that threaten vinyl's place as a format of choice. Mixing with CDs is now a well-established part of DJing, and new technologies such as MP3 and mini-disc are making serious inroads. There are certain things that you just can't do using a piece of black plastic. So now we're going to move into the Academy's dedicated DJ room, where Miles is going to show us some CD mixing and some new technology.
Okay, what we've got here is some modern technology that different DJs are using different types of. We've got 2 CD players here. We've also got an MP3 mixer and a mini disc player as well.
Okay.
Start by showing you the CD player. You've got separate controls and drawers. And if we just put in a CD there, we put our CD in, we've got a little button here. We can move it up to track 6 and it comes up straight away. And like a turntable, it's got a start-stop button. This has a play-pause button and also a cue button. And we use this jog wheel here to find our first beat if we're going to mix our tune. And then you've got a finer jog wheel. You can find it frame by frame. So it's very accurate because they have 74 frames a second. Once you've found it, it starts straight away. You can start and stop it like that.
So presumably with the display on the CD mixer, it's easier to cue up than it is with vinyl.
Yeah, it is very easy to some respects. The only downfall on the CDs, you can't actually see what's going to happen on the record. You can't see a breakdown or such like on a record. But once you've got it cued, you've got the same virtues as a turntable has. You can take it down 10% on this one and take it up 10% as well. And where you'd normally slow down a record with your fingers, you can use pitch bend. The buttons here to do it. Take it all the way down and all the way up. That's the equivalent of putting your hand on the side of the platter on a record deck, and you can speed it up as well. A nice thing on this particular machine as well is you've got a thing called key control, and you can actually speed up the track without changing the key of what you're playing. It can be very useful if you want to play some vocals very fast or very slow.
Right.
Also on here, you've got some effects. You've got a sampler on here. You can put some other effects on like filtering and reverb as well. You've also got a thing which is loop and hot start. This can be very useful as well. If I just load it up there. Once it's loaded, wherever you are on the CD, you can always go back to your predefined cue point. And you can actually choose 2 cue points as well. And this has also got a loop on it. And loop, of course, is very useful as well. When you're mixing, you might just want to take 2 beats of a tune and keep them going.
Right.
And you can stick something else over the top of it.
Okay.
The MP3 player here and also this mini disc player here, they both work in pretty much the same way to this sort of machine.
Do many people use these?
Well, I think more and more people are using them, especially mobile DJs and DJs in commercial clubs where you need vast selections of different styles and types of music. And they're very, very good for that because they're compact, they're lightweight and they're easy to carry around.
So it's great technology, but are professional DJs really using this kind of stuff in clubs? This CD mixing doesn't really have a very good name, does it? In the world of DJs, it's not very...
No, I mean, a few years ago everybody was saying that CD mixing, you know, everything was going to change to CD, it's all going to be digital, but it hasn't happened. There's definitely a place for it, but it's never going to take over from vinyl, I don't think.
I think it's good. If they can get it, obviously, to feel like vinyl, then you know, it's never going to be perfect. But I mean, it's good in a sense. I mean, they were having a debate. Vinyl's, I mean, CD's going to take over vinyl, but I never think it will. There's always going to be vinyl, but I think they just need to complement each other.
I think they're less likely to scratch or jump, a lot lighter, a lot easier to carry. You don't have to worry about how high your volumes are. All the CDs should be more or less the same. An LP or a 12-inch playing more than 7.5, maybe 8 minutes. It's going to reduce the loudness, it's going to reduce the sound. And I think CDs eliminate all that.
One thing I will say is now that we've got CDs, it's actually a lot better because now you can get CDs with like 15 to 30 tracks on it or something, so that means you can carry a lot less. So I can see that I'm slowly but surely going to move over to CDs, you know, especially for mobiling.
You know, CD decks now can do pretty much anything that vinyl can.